I want to take just a few minutes and talk about pricing. It's what everyone asks. It's part of the job. How did the surveyor come up with the pricing? And I think there's a real misconnection with people get the impression that, one, if the tract is small, like a city lot, it won't cost hardly anything to survey it because it's not very large. Where if it's 100 acres, it's going to be quite expensive to survey because there's so much ground. And in reality, I can survey 3 to 5 acres really more efficiently than I can survey a city lot, because a city lot has a lot more involved in it. The other thing you have to understand when you're looking at, like, say you want to cut 3 acres out to give to your son and your daughter so they can build a house on. That's a common request. Where people are missing seeing the whole objective and understanding where you need to end up at as an end product is they'll hire the surveyor to cut 3 acres out. The surveyor will come out and cut the 3 acres out and walk away, and he's done. Unfortunately, when he done that, he didn't survey out the remaining, let's say it's a 15-acre tract, survey 3 out, you should have 12 left. He doesn't survey the 12 out and write a description for the 12 acres. So down the road, and just the next time you want to do something with the ground, you've got to hire the surveyor to survey the 15, survey the 3, and then create the 12 again, when he was already there, and he could have done it while he was there at very little cost. But a lot of surveyors will shortcut the project to get a cheaper price, to try to lowball the job and get the work, and not really take care of the client. And what we here at CB&M Surveys are more interested in is long-term objectives and taking care of your real needs and explaining what's really going on. A lot of the other surveyors will come in and they'll deed stake it. They won't do a boundary stake. And what I mean by that is they'll just stake the deed, however the deed's written, they'll stake those corners, and they walk away from it. They never really gave you a boundary survey. They gave you a deed stake. You won't know the difference, and unfortunately, when you come into a surveyor's office, you honestly believe the surveyor is going to go out and set the boundary lines. That's what you see the surveyor as. And not all surveyors do that. Some surveyors just do what's called deed staking, and they'll have a line there for the deed. They'll have a line for line of occupation on the drawing. They may have a neighboring deed onto it. They'll show a gap or overlap, and they'll never answer the question where the boundary was at. All that comes into the pricing for the job. You have to understand that here at CB&M Surveys, we intend to put the boundary on the ground. And we intend to give you one line telling you that's the dividing line between you and your neighbor. We intend to monument the corners. We're not going to double monument them. We're going to try to use the history of the ground. We're going to try to use all the mathematics of the section. We're going to try to use all the surrounding parcel descriptions and all the court decisions to make a decision of where that boundary line should be. And we're going to give you the absolute best position we think the court will decide on if you end up going to court over that issue. This video is about pricing, and I've kind of told you this is what can happen and what other surveyors do. What you really have to do for the pricing is spend time talking. Talk to the licensed surveyor that you're trying to hire. Explain the long-term objectives and let him go through what he thinks it's going to be. The time is what creates the price. How much time is it going to take to get through the job? What the surveyor believes it'll take to gather all the information that's going to be required to come up with that answer that you want. And it all comes down to come in and talk to me. Give me a chance to look at it and tell you what you need to see for the overall project. Let me explain some long-term objectives I think we should be thinking about, and then we can work out the price.